Welcome guys to the first video of our channel Cars Against Cars. I'm Henri and today's video is about comparison between Aston Martin DBX and Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT. SUVs that have been fully militarized are no longer on the fringe. The Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT and the Aston Martin DBX 707 compete to see who reigns supreme among high-riding wagons. When it was shown that high-performance SUVs were not an oxymoron, there was only one way to go: up. More speed, faster acceleration, more grip, more tenacious braking, and, most importantly, higher costs. The succession of high-test versions with more horsepower and compound badge extensions at Porsche has resulted in the 2022 Cayenne Turbo GT, a real sport utility weapon capable of incredible things on the track, including the famed Nürburgring. Other high-end automakers have joined in, like Ferrari's forthcoming Purosangue. Aston Martin joined the race a few years ago with the DBX. However, we believe that the monstrous 2023 DBX 707 was always in production. These Cayenne and DBX models work well together, and not just because our prototypes were painted focus group white to avoid color prejudice. Both are powered by ferocious twin-turbo 4.0-liter V8 engines, with the Porsche's 3,996 cubic centimeter powerhouse producing 631 horsepower and the Aston producing 697 horsepower from a mere 3,982 cubic centimeters. Aside from that, both cars have all-wheel drive and ride-on-air springs with electronically adjustable dampers and active anti-roll bars. Both offer high-stance terrain modes of doubtful relevance, as well as exorbitant costs. The base Porsche in our test costs $189,090, whereas the glitzier Aston Martin costs $290,086. If we were to crown a champion based on the attention of bystanders, the Aston would easily win. People stopped us at gas stations to ask what it was and to take photos. This makes obvious when you compare the automobiles side by side. The 707 commands attention. Its clean, modern design is adorned with fascinating features, however the diffuser's fussy spoiler is something we could do without. Highs, insanely fast, witty soundtrack, and great design. Lows, horrible infotainment, exorbitant price. Verdict: if money was not an issue, we would not object. The same is true on the inside, where the DBX appears to be intriguing and layered. The seats and dashboard appear to have received some design attention, and the carbon fiber center console is far more detailed and intentional than the tacked-on material on the Porsche's door panels. However, as on the outside, the design would look better if it were reduced by around 5%. Underway, the Aston Martin delivers the crushing performance that its aggressive looks suggest. It accelerates to 60 miles per hour in 3.1 seconds, 100 miles per hour in 7.6 seconds, and runs a quarter mile in 11.4 seconds at 121 miles per hour. Its eager 9-speed automatic allows it to perform 30 to 50 mph passing moves in 2.6 seconds and 50 to 70 mph movements in 3 seconds flat. In the twisties, the Aston Martin is also a skilled hustler. The V8's kick, beautiful shriek, and upshift crackle are there when you boot it upon corner exit, thanks to precise steering reaction and robust brakes. Despite 5,138 pounds of British engineering, the chassis feels light and balanced, and the active anti-roll control keeps body lean to a minimum as you approach the next bend. The brake engagement point is slightly lower than the Porsche's, and somewhat more turn and lock is required since the Aston's steering ratio seems a tad slower. But you'd never notice those nits until you drove these two side by side. The Aston Martin is a steady and tranquil interstate cruiser with a pleasant ride and a steering system that provides a clairvoyant sensation of straight ahead via its finely shaped wheel. However, we did not have a head-up display in this driving environment, and the appealing seats proved to be less comfy than they appear, with obtuse side bolster and lumbar settings that we never got used to. The most vexing flaw has to be the aggravating infotainment system, which is either controllable by a touchpad or a half-hidden knob that is completely inaccessible if you use the cup holders. Perhaps Aston should relocate them ahead of the controller and install a genuine touchscreen to provide the driver with options. Meanwhile, those in the back will be as content as clams. Climate control vents are installed in the center console as well as elegantly set into the door pillars, and there is plenty of space. At the end of the day, the Aston's near $300,000 price tag is the most significant impediment. If you can laugh at that statement, don't let us deter you from making a purchase. In comparison to the Aston Martin, the Porsche's rounded design resembles a used bar of soap, with a grille opening that resembles a hockey player's wide grin with dentures out. An influencer photographing our DBX framed the Cayenne out of his photographs, which is telling. However, the Turbo GT excels where it counts, making it a great sleeper. Despite having 66 horsepower fewer, the Porsche accelerates faster, reaching 60 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds, retaining that 0.2 second edge through 100 miles per hour, and crossing the quarter-mile line in 11.2 seconds at 120 miles per hour. After that, the more powerful Aston begins to outrun it, but it's a tight call in a speed universe with no daily importance. Back on Earth, the Porsche's 30 to 50 and 50 to 70 mph passing times are a tenth and 2/10 slower than the Aston's, respectively. This is most likely owing to the 8-speed automatic's lower gears, but the GT still has excellent passing capability and a smooth shifting transmission. Highs, immediate control reaction, long-lasting grip, reduced pricing allows for more possibilities. Lows, forgettable look, flimsier ride, only seats 4. Verdict, the Porsche of SUV haulers. In the Alps, the Turbo GT's standard rear-wheel steering and active roll control work together to blast through tight hairpins, flowing S's, and extended sweepers. The steering reaction is razor-sharp, and the brake pedal is responsive and natural. You simply think about doing things, and they are completed. It's a unity that Aston can't match. There's also plenty of grip, and it's not just our imagination, a monster 1.03G around the skid pad proved it. But there's a catch, one that probably explains the launch advantage, the rapid turn-in response, and the lateral grip, but oddly no appreciable stopping distance benefit. The Pirelli P0 Corsa PZC4 tires on the Turbo GT have a treadwear rating of 80, the Aston's is 280. They're so extreme that they wouldn't be allowed at an SCCA autocross. They're classified as streetable track competition tires by Tire Rack, and we doubt they'll last 10,000 miles. Still, from the good side of a $100,000 price difference, throwing a lot of them at the Porsche feels inexpensive. The yes, but theme continues on the highway, where the Turbo GT's standard Alcantara steering wheel feels like, as senior editor Ilana Scher called it, an elderly cat, all bones and fur. Rest assured, a more comfortable and heated steering wheel is available on the typically vast Porsche options list. The same can be said for our Porsche's dual-zone climate control, which can be extended to 4 zones for a relatively low cost. The DBX has a baseline 3-zone arrangement, and its lack of adaptive cruise control. The standard 8-way sports seats, on the other hand, are very comfortable over long distances and help to take the edge off rougher roads. However, you might upgrade to 18-way chairs. What you can't change are the slightly less comfortable ride, the 4-seat configuration, and the 1 mpg lower EPA combined fuel economy figure, which is due to the sticky tires and the cog-deficient 8-speed automatic. However, there are a million reasons why this doesn't matter, and there's no doubting that the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT is the more potent and gratifying sport utility vehicle. Furthermore, if that interested influencer is any indication, the local cops will most likely focus their attention on the Aston instead. Write in the comments about the cars you would like to talk about in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.